Hi, I'm Lieutenant Commander James Haley, the number 2 pilot and right wingman for the 2020 Blue Angels. Today we're here to talk about the low brake cross.
Solid left right. 300. 1 mile. 1. Mile and a half. 1.
As you'll see in the setup here in the video, we've just entered from behind the crowd, smoke on, and boss is about to call the ready brake. Now at the ready brake, 2 and 3 will exit the show line 90 degrees out in each direction, followed by a subsequent ready brake, and 1 and 4 will exit on the crowd left and crowd right in front of the crowd headings, just 30 degrees off of the appropriate heading. Now here, as you see, I've dipped my wing to the right to look for my checkpoint that actually happens to be directly under my aircraft. Now, as boss calls 1 mile mark is indicating that boss is 1 mile outbound on his respective heading. So right here, I'm executing the crowd right heading of 071, and I'm going to look for a little drain directly below my aircraft indicated on this imagery we use for pre-flight study. Subsequently here in another about 5 seconds, you'll see me dip my wing to the left as I set up for the turn as boss calls 1.5 mile mark. At a 1.5 mile mark, he's obviously at a 1.5 mile outbound, setting up for our turns inbound. And now I'm looking for the sand trap on the 14th hole at NAS Pensacola Golf Course. As we fly outbound here, we're at 350 knots ground speed, and then we set up a 4G turn inbound here. As you'll see in the video, I'm crossing with the number 4 pilot right here, looking to set up about a 50 to 100 foot pass. I pass outside of number 4, so I set the hit there, as 4 is looking to maintain a constant 4G pull to allow me to set that hit from the crowd that's going to look like we pass nose to nose. As we press inbound here, now I'm going to descend to get on my appropriate cross altitude. For now, it's 500 feet. We'll change those and modify those throughout the season as we get a little bit closer and a little bit more proficient. Here, 1 and 4 are looking to set their airspeed roughly 375 knots ground speed and modify that so that we all 4 cross directly at center point. Now my job, as well as 3's job, is to fly Cmdr. What is Cmdr? Well, it's constant bearing decreasing range, kind of a Navy term there, as we look to just modify the power, be on altitude, and put 4 on a specific point on the canopy and make sure that he stays there and doesn't drift forward or aft as we go all the way inbound. As you'll see here, we'll all cross with our 150 foot spacing in 4 different directions, and then I'll be looking to squat my jet, another 6G pull there, to parallel show line as 4 and I now exit crowd left. You'll see 4 on the right hand side setting up for one of the biggest pulls right here in the 2 spot at 7.5 G's for 180 degrees to turn. You'll see me actually go 2 hands on the stick to really set that pull in a aggressive manner, if you will. Now behind the crowd here, we're setting up for another hit with 1 and 3 as we set up for the rejoin. So if the crowd happens to look behind them in the show, it looks like we'll pass 90 degrees out and almost hit each other. In real life, we're separated by about 1/4 mile. As we set up for the join, I'll have level airspace in this join as our contract, and 4 will have the outside of the turn and high as we look to safely rendezvous out here and set up for the Burner 270. Thanks for joining me for this week's segment of the Debrief, talking about the low brake cross my favorite maneuver.